I think even from the staff there's a stigma attached to mental health and they just don't know how, you know, they need support. I think they try to be supportive.
I was going to say, I used to be like quite depressed, and because there was all that stigma, I never got the help, and I kind of had to find my own way out of it. Because I know, like in my school and even with like adults around, it's like, don't get help, that's weak, that's weak.
If we need to, and we said about how a lot of people don't know where to go, and then the people or like places where they go to don't know enough as well. So like GPs and schools, they don't know that much. I think the place where I go would be Google. I'd literally just Google it.
You Google,
yeah. Young people's mental health in Leeds.
Yeah, that's what I would do now.
Yeah.
That's what I'd do now, yeah, absolutely. But back then, I think, when I was starting to experience them, I think it's my parents that actually noticed the signs, and they did go to GP, and then I was referred to CAMS.
And I think some GPs are not aware of like the voluntary organisations where sometimes you can get help a lot quicker. And really we think between professionals and young people, young people also need to be treated like the experts of mental health, and again bridging that gap between our knowledge and their knowledge and our experiences, which we try to do throughout Common Room.
Yeah. I think taking into account what's being said earlier, they won't take you seriously unless you're at that crisis point. They don't take it seriously if it's earlier.
You need to kind of also look at that. Is there an alternative service or somewhere you can go while you're waiting for the NHS waiting list? It's like the GP referring you, but because you can be waiting so long, the issue for many young people is like, how do I cope, or what do I do within that time to help me cope?
The choice is limited. It's area restricted, so if you're in a certain area, you have to go all the way across the city to get the help you need.
Well, if you're going back to school, then you might ask, I don't know, if you'd feel able to speak to teachers, maybe.
But it says here, people who work in our schools know what to say to us and can get us specialist help if we need it. I know from my own experience, I went to a good school, but if you went to them and said, I'm really depressed, they'd be like, carry on smiling.
Services, you know.
I think it should be in the, the teaching framework.
Teacher training.
Yeah, the framework of the training, there should be a section on children's mental health, or at least teen mental health, and just say, look, you don't have to be an expert, you just have to be aware of these things, even if it's like a day training or something.
Like physical health as well, like they've got physical health problems, like it's not sometimes it's not taken seriously, it could be something physically wrong, as opposed to, like, it must be something to do with their mental health because they've had previous experiences.
Vice versa.
And there's that kind of interlink of that as well, which is frustrating sometimes with GPs and other professionals as well.
For younger people under 18, from my experience, going into A&E has been good when you're under 18, because they send someone from the CAMS duty team. And if you're already under CAMS, then that's better, because it just processes it a bit quicker and it all goes back to your CAMS workers. In terms of like 18 to 25, what happens when you present at A&E, I don't really know. I imagine that's becoming more flexible, because I didn't know, when I left CAMS, my birthday's in February, so I turned 18 in February, and they did let me stay right up till the summer, which was quite good. So I imagine they have probably got more flexible in terms of like, not just directly cutting off that support as you turn 18. I think it's getting better, because it's like talked about more, and obviously more young people, younger and in schools are like experiencing mental health problems.